Hi, and welcome to the TechNet Show. Today we have some news. We have Apple news and a good amount of it. I'm not exactly as I was hoping for some things that didn't happen, but what we got was pretty good anyway. So first up, let's go with the Apple Watch because, well, the event was called Time Flies, so might as well get right into it.
Yeah, all right.
So the
Who saw that coming?
Series 6 got announced, and Jared, why don't you talk about one of the biggest new features?
All right. So one of the new things that they've introduced in this Series 6 is brand new sensor. You can measure your blood oxygen levels now. For most people, you should be fine without monitoring it. The biggest benefactors from this would probably be people who have like chronic lung diseases such as like COPD and emphysema. What I've read very very briefly, it does look like people who do have chronic lung diseases have to kind of keep a tabs on their blood oxygen levels a lot more. So having that available on a smartwatch, which can already do a bunch of other tasks and whatnot, could be very valuable in that regards.
So the other new improvements are the new loop. So basically, it's a new band that is silicon, so there's no like latch or anything. So there should be like 12 different sizes. So you need to measure your wrist beforehand and get the one that fits you. Because non-adjustable or whatever. But yeah, it's looking pretty good, but yeah, it's just the non-adjustable part that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's too bad it's not like
Supposedly
some
it's
kind of
comfortable.
like. Yeah, it's too bad it's not like some kind of like magical like auto adjusting silicon band. That'd be pretty.
Well,
That'd
I
be
mean, it's
legit.
silicon, but yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. It's probably going to be pretty comfortable. Other improvements are that the always-on display is slightly brighter, and you get an elevation sensor, which would
Hey,
be great for tracking your fitness up mountains.
that is
Not
true.
that we're really scaling mountains in this day and age right now, but if you were, you have one.
Yeah,
Um,
you can also
the
see
other
exactly how
announcement.
high you go if you live in a second story house. Anyway.
Oh yeah, that's true. Or if you live on a island that varies in height
I trekking up the mountains, was it like Pololo or like Kaimuki side, you can watch it rise.
while driving.
Oh yeah. These hills are steep, man.
Yeah. Well, by the way, we're not saying to stare at your watch while driving.
Oh
That's
yeah.
a
Don't
bad
don't
idea.
don't, don't do that. Don't do that. We don't need
But
that
it
PSA
can't
appearing. Please.
it can't be any worse than those people on the road right now, though. Still not telling you should, and I'm definitely telling you not be one of those crazy people on the road right now with COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be those guys. Only stare at your watch for like a second to tell time. That's it.
Yeah. So the other watch announcement was the SE, which just like the iPhone SE, is a cheap version of the Apple Watch. So it comes in at $279. It's missing a few key features such as the always-on display and that said EKG and the oxygen sensor. However, it's still a very good value since it's only $279. I forgot to mention that the Series 6 earlier is actually $400. So that's quite a price differential. And for the majority of the features that you would normally use Apple Watch for, as in tracking fitness, your notifications, I mean, for $279 is a much better value. And the nice thing about both of these is that's available on this month on the 18th.
It is this Friday. It is
Yes.
indeed this Friday.
I forgot to notice that. But okay, yeah, this Friday. Let's go with this Friday.
Yeah,
But yeah,
pretty
it's
fast.
some pretty nice things that's coming out. I'm pretty excited for the Apple Watch. I don't really use smartwatches myself, but who knows? I might actually get into it this time around. Jared has more experience with smartwatches than I do, but he's never had an Apple Watch either.
That is true. And I am attempting to dive into this ecosystem, so I mean,
That SE is looking pretty tempting, doesn't isn't it?
it does. That along with one other particular device that I think we're going to be talking about later on that actually catches my
Yeah.
eye, truth be told. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, before we actually talk about that, let's talk about the services that they announced. The biggest service they announced, and honestly, this is pretty interesting because I need to get in shape, in fit. What the heck am I saying?
Yes, we must be
I
in
need to get in
fit.
shape.
I too
You
need
must
to be
purchase
in
a Honda
fit.
Fit. Anyway, yeah, it's a service called Fitness Plus by Apple. So it's basically a service that has videos of trainers to help you, do your sessions, to show you a good way to work out. And there's sessions that are from 5 minutes to I think 45 minutes. And just having that range of you work out when you want for as long as you want, I think that's a very good thing. And it comes in at $9.99 a month or $79.99 a year. So how it works is that if you have like your phone or your iPad or an Apple TV and you have an Apple Watch, you can view your data like your heart rate, your calories burned, your rings, on your iPhone or your TV while you're doing your workout, which I think is pretty neat. Your thoughts, Jared?
Yeah, it's a very solid way to, really actively promote, fitness and whatnot. It's I mean, yeah, it's another subscription thing, but I mean everything's a subscription thing. But honestly, it's a very
Yeah.
solid value. Even in fact, the yearly one even seems like a more solid value than the monthly. All things considered,
But yeah,
way
I
more than
mean, if
like
you think about how
$20.
much money gym memberships are, well, this is a drop in the bucket for you guys.
No, yeah, those things get pricey.
And since it's actually at home, you might actually end up doing it more often.
That's true. You're running out of excuses. It's like right there. It's right on your phone. And it doesn't
Yeah,
require like
you
any
better get
equipment. Or
in shape
I think I
after
heard
this.
dumbbells, if anything, but very
Yeah,
low.
well, I mean, I think that there's some things that require equipment. It depends on what you're actually doing. But that's the beauty of this. You take whatever plan that you want, and it will require whatever, equipment that it prerequisites,
Matches to your needs.
which is something that's pretty neat. I'm pretty excited for this. I might actually try this out myself. Hopefully that will get my girlfriend off my back, but whatever. Moving on now. So we're talking about value. We're talking about the SE. We're talking about Fitness Plus. Apple's more about value more than ever lately. So it's no surprise that they're making a bundle to make you spend more money than you normally would have, but at a better value.
No, yeah.
It's called Apple One, which sounds oddly similar to Google One, which is their subscription plan. But so there's three plans: the individual, family, and premier plans. So individual and family, they both have music, TV, and arcade. However, the individual plan only has 50 gigabytes of iCloud storage, while the family plan has 200. The family plan also has the added bonus of being able to share it with 5 family members. Did I say the prices already? I don't think I did. So the individual plan costs $14.95, and the family plan costs $19.95. But the difference in this plan is the last plan is different, slightly different. It costs $29.95, but along with music, TV, arcade, and 2 terabytes of iCloud storage,
It's a lot of
you also
storage.
get Apple News Plus and Apple Fitness Plus, which is the new subscription service for $29.95, and you get to share it with 5 people in your family. It's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong about that. But if you have like a few people in your family that likes these services, that want to use these services, this might not be a bad value for you.
Yeah, it's a very solid premier family plan. You get some good stuff. You get fitness.
Oh, speaking of family, I forgot to mention this. We didn't put this in the notes. So the new one of the new features of the Apple Watch is that you can set up multiple Apple Watches on a single iPhone. So if you wanted to give an Apple Watch to a kid, but you didn't really want to commit to giving them a phone, you could set it up on your iPhone. You could, if it's a cellular one, you can basically allow them to, make calls to you, send messages to you, maybe grandma. You get to see their location. I think this is a great way for like parents to keep track of their children without needing to fully commit to giving them phones if they're not comfortable with it. And the restrictions in place allow you to be in charge of what they do, which I think is a pretty neat thing. You want to take the next one, the next value product?
Oh, sure. So, one of the final things mentioned in the Time Flies event, one of the last value items on this, or the start of the last two value items on this list, is a new and improved standard iPad. So, on the plus side, the iPad does stick around in the $329 price range. I believe it's the same as last time. That didn't change?
Yep, it's the same as last time. Yeah. Except normally the last one went on sale so often that the price might as well have been $250, but well,
okay. So if we're looking at ignoring all the sales that have gone on, I'm assuming this is probably going to follow a similar trend at some point. But
probably after like a few months or something like that, but I don't expect seeing it soon before the holidays happen.
Oh yeah, capitalize on that holiday money. They want value, but they don't want that much value. Anyway, so yeah.
Well, either way, $300.
Oh yeah, it's $329 for an iPad.
Yeah,
very solid. Still keeping up with the usual body style. I think still rocking that Touch ID button, which I don't know. I got no complaints on that.
Yeah.
Still rocking support with Gen 1 Pencil, which I have now learned charges very quickly, besides the fact that, if you get over the I'm assuming, I don't know, it still feels kind of awkward for me to imagine just stabbing my pencil into the side, but apparently it charges quickly and it hangs on very well, so I can't argue against that.
I mean, it's a terrible way to charge your pencil. There's no way to charge it. To actually keep it on your iPad. It's not user friendly.
No, yeah.
But it gets the job done, and the actual performance of it is still very good.
Yeah. Can never argue with that. It's like
and it's slightly cheaper. Like I think that I know that the Gen 1 is $100. I think that the series Gen 2 is $130, but don't quote me on it. I know it's more expensive though.
Oh yeah, looks like the first generation is $99 and the second gen is $129 off of Apple's website. But
well, the actual performance of the A12 chip is nothing to scoff at. I mean, Apple claims it's 2 times more powerful than the most commonly bought Windows PC. I'm sure that they're not vying. I don't want to believe that the most commonly bought Windows PC is that weak. I don't want to believe that. However, doesn't mean that the iPad's a slouch. Geekbench says that they're basically as good as a modern i5 processor inside of a low power laptop. So that's nothing to scoff at. And the GPU performance is very good for a small form factor device. All in all, the performance of an iPad is very, very good.
Yeah.
And
for a $330 iPad,
goodness.
That's some power. That's power.
Well, I mean, let's just say that you're the type of person that's like, I have a few bucks to spend. I want to go out there and get something good. but I don't want to spend $1,000. There used to not be a good option for that. You used to either want to go with the $800 iPad Pro, or you just kind of wanted to hold back and get the super cheap iPad. But now you have a good option in the middle. The iPad Air got refreshed, and it costs $599. It has the same design language as the new iPad Pro. However, it comes in two new colors, green and sky blue. I really like the sky blue, and I wouldn't mind getting the green either. So the full color set is space gray, silver, rose gold, green, and sky blue.
Still funny to
Honestly,
kind of
yeah, they're all,
sorry. Still kind of funny
yeah,
to hear out
they're
that
all
list.
pretty great colors. So the updates for this is that they now use a second gen Apple Pencil. It's compatible with a Magic Keyboard, which I think is very nice. The only issue I have with the Magic Keyboard is the price of it. I don't remember that off the top of my head, but it's expensive. But they finally fixed the design flaws of the old smart keyboards, like the mushy key travel, and
Oh, the
actually adding a
mush.
trackpad. So I think that the trade-off of price just might be worth it. It also has Touch ID, which some of you might be like, why doesn't it have Face ID? Do you really want to have Face ID when half the time you have a mask on your face? Think about that for a few seconds. Do you want Face ID? Because the answer for me is no. I don't want it. But
personally rather prefer Touch ID in general anyway, but that's my personal taste.
yeah, well, anyway. The other advantage that this has is that it runs the A14 Bionic chip, which I think is even newer than the current gen iPhones. This is a brand new chip. So Apple claims that the A14 Bionic chip is a 40% faster CPU and a 30% faster graphics than what?
Just in general.
Compared to the previous generation. Okay, that means nothing to me. It has Wi-Fi 6.
Hey.
I think that the previous generation iPad Air had maybe it had an A13 chip. Yeah, I think it did have an A13 chip. So yeah, it doesn't mean nothing to me. It means a lot to me. Yeah, so this chip is fast. And the other nice thing that this thing has is that it also has USB-C rather than Lightning, which is always a nice plus.
Hey.
Yeah, you have something more to add, Jared?
No, not really much else to add. It's a very exciting update. It's like a cheaper iPad Pro with a solid processor. Definitely on my radar. Personally, been in the market for an iPad in general, so definitely a big contender on my list now.
I mean, you can go cheap or you can go with the iPad Air. You can't really go wrong with either one of them.
No, yeah.
Let's talk about the last thing. The last thing is something that you get to see today. Well, technically tomorrow for us, but today for you guys. iOS 14 coming tomorrow or today for you. iOS 14 is a very major update. This is one of the first times that they're actually touching the home screen, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. So now on an iPhone, you get to have widgets. So like Android, where you can actually have applications that tell you stuff on the screen, you finally get that on iOS. Jared has always been a very big fan of widgets.
Oh, yeah. Always love me some widgets. And apparently it loves me back because it followed me over.
So did the app drawer.
I know, right?
Or the app library. I'm sorry, they call it the app library.
Oh, yeah.
But if we're completely honest here, it's the app drawer.
Oh, yeah.
So another big feature that I am actually really looking forward to, because I get stirred about this a lot. So I don't like saying this, but I sometimes ignore calls. If you're watching this and you know me, I'm sorry. So
I always ignore calls. I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. I'm sorry.
So basically, one of the features is that Your phone calls aren't going to take up the entire screen anymore. It's going to be like Android, and you're going to get a small banner at the top of your screen telling you, do you want to answer this call or do you want to reject this call? So you can actually wait for them to ring out without disrupting your workflow, which is amazing.
That's
I'm
very
so
nice.
happy for this. So another thing that they're adding is picture-in-picture mode. So this allows you to, an example that they use is FaceTime. This allows you to continue to use FaceTime while you're inside of another app, which is pretty neat. I'm all for picture-in-picture. Jared likes picture-in-picture because he had that in Android for a long time.
No,
I think that
yeah.
iOS 14 is like that thing, like those weird, features that Android had for a very long time, but iOS didn't.
So those
And
features.
apparently, Android 11 is like the very weird features that iOS had that Android didn't. So I'm not saying that anyone's stealing anything because everyone's stealing everything.
They're literally just becoming each other. At this point, the only thing I feel like the only thing that's gonna separate them in the near future is probably just personal aesthetics. They're getting pretty close.
Yeah, so there's a lot of new things in iOS 14 to look forward to. iPad has, honestly, we've had widgets for a while, but not, pretty widgets.
Pretty
So
widgets.
that's a nice improvement, but I don't think that's as massive as of an improvement as it is for an iPhone. However, the big improvement to iPad is better pen support. So
Oh,
this pen support will allow you to really fill in like text fields with your pen. It'll allow you to turn your pen's handwriting into real text. It'll improve your text recognition so that you can actually take handwritten text, copy and paste it into your notes app or other notes as real text, which honestly is pretty crazy. This machine learning stuff is amazing.
no, yeah.
Honestly, I find it, I actually kind of like how Apple does this. They in the performance metrics, they tell you how good their machine learning is, but they never tell you like how they're using machine learning inside of their products. It's kind of like a mystery to you, but programmers like Jared and people that know about programming like me kind of look at a feature and kind of know like, oh, this is definitely machine learning, and features like this 100% machine learning has to be. Yeah, I'm looking forward to what Apple and Google, for that matter, have when it comes to AI and machine learning, because I think we're just scraping the iceberg here.
No, yeah. Very exciting stuff. All around.
Well, it looks like that's all we have for today, I guess. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and I guess we will see you guys in the next video.
See ya.
Bye for now.